Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show. Yay! Good evening, everyone. Let's fade that music out. There we go. Good evening and welcome to the TNG Review Show. With me, Montalban, and my co-host, Mazza McBob. Unfortunately, no G-Star this evening. G-Star's got a migraine. He's not very well, so he can't make it. So we send him our best wishes and lots of get well soons. So yes, if we could have some get well soons for G in the chat, that would be great. But though we don't have G-Star, we do have our very special guest, Crystal Karen. Yay!
Thank you on this side rather than that side.
Yeah. You will have to go onto the stream on your phone if you want to see chat, because I don't actually stream in StreamYard, so yeah, the chat's not there. So yes, just an FYI if you want to see what everybody's saying. Yeah, if you could do that. Oh, and Karen, while you're there, like the stream. Like that. Click that giant... Oh, hello. Click the giant thumb button. Yes. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. Who have we got on already? We've got Lindy Hop. Good evening, Lindy Hop. I've already said hello to Smiler and Stublum. Hello, the whole family are on board this evening. They have boarded. They're ready to depart.
I smashed the like button.
They smashed that like button. I just was proud of this. I just shown Maz and Bob this just before we came on air, and I'm so proud of it. I'm showing the stream. I have completed a Bic Biro. Look at that. It's empty. That's how much work and effort I put into this show. I've used a whole Bic Biro making notes. That's a lot of pages. I've just completed my second notebook. I might write too much for this. My notes may be too much. But there you go.
Better to have too much than too little.
I like to be prepared, I like to be prepared. Yeah, so yeah, I was proud of that. Have you got blood wine on board there, Mazza McBob?
Oh, yes. My blood wine.
Blood wine. I wasn't going to, and then I completely reneged on that, and I've got my own blood wine as well. So, yeah.
You lasted as long as seeing me pour a glass, and then you disappeared and got some.
I did, yes. Smile a rainbow.
It's tradition, though.
It is. That's what I thought. I thought I can't break the tradition, can I? Smile a rainbow. Sorry, Crystal, there?
Are they matching wine glasses?
Well, they are from the same. They are from the same people. Yeah, that make them.
His is slightly smaller and has a different design.
Yeah.
Mine's got a dragon down it. What's yours got, Mark? See, mine's got like a dragon head.
Mine's got like dragon claws, and it's got like death with a scythe, like in like an ornate arch. Yeah.
Ludacris originally got this one. And then I got a wine one for Montalban, and I got a beer tankard one for Stuplum.
Yep, Stuplum's got his own as well. Yeah. They
both played World of Warcraft, and it seemed very World of Warcrafty.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. We were pretty happy with it. Smiler Rainbow thinks the quote of the stream so far is, "I have completed a Bic Biro."
Good one.
How's your hand though from writing?
Yeah.
Is it aching?
It does ache, yeah. Once I get into the second episode, I do want to put that Bic Biro down and and curse why I ever did this. It's my hands throbbing. But no, it's fine. It's fine. Please, Smiler, let me know how how the sound is. Is everybody at the right levels? Just keep me up to date with that. It looks like good news. The stream is in good condition this evening. So, yeah.
Yay.
Hopefully no
I was
disconnects.
thinking the other day, like, what about a hard line for you rather than relying on Wi-Fi? That'd be a way of guaranteeing your signal.
Yeah, that's true.
Thought.
That means I have to plumb it in.
Yeah.
That means effort on my part. So, yeah.
It does. But yeah, I just suddenly thought, like, why didn't we think about that sooner? But yeah.
I have thought about it. And it's something I could do. Yeah.
Maximum effort.
I
as
know.
Deadpool says.
Yeah.
I'll get someone to do it for you.
Yeah. You can pay handymen to do these sorts of things.
Exactly. Why do it when you can get someone else to do it for you?
Yeah, it sounds good to them. They say turn Karen up a smidge. Well, I've turned both Karen and Maz up a smidge because they're on the same bar. But yeah, I've turned them up a smidge. Okay, That's cool. Well, we got 2 episodes for you this evening. We've got Arsenal of Freedom is up first, and then Symbiosis is up next. So that's the 2 episodes we're talking about this evening, and they're not bad episodes this week. I don't think, for season 1, it's not a bad crop.
I would agree.
Yeah, so there we go. You're welcome. Yep, so sounds all good. We're all good to go. So first up, Arsenal of Freedom. I've got the obligatory fandom's website images. There you go. It's a nice green planet. We'll see that planet in detail later, and it's beautiful. It's really season 1 looking. But anyway.
It's trees.
Yeah. Well, potted plants, I think, in a sound stage is more the thing. Right, so the teaser. The Enterprise has been ordered to the Lorenz cluster to investigate the disappearance of the USS Drake. The Drake itself, I think, was investigating the disappearance of the population of the planet Minos. And there it is. Data mentions that the Minosians were arms merchants, and Riker mentioned that he went to the academy with the Drake's captain, Captain Rice, and it turns out that Riker was actually offered the USS Drake, and instead he decided it would be more advantageous for his career to take the first officer position. My gosh, I've only had a sip. The first officer position on the Enterprise, which I think is a bit of an odd thing, considering that one of the sort of character traits that they've given to Riker so far is that he's going to do anything to one day become a captain.
Yeah,
and
he
it turns
wanted to
out
be one of the youngest captains, and he's already been offered a captaincy.
He's already been offered one, and he turned it down.
Bit of a character error there.
So yeah, that doesn't quite.
And it becomes a running theme as well throughout all the series. Him turning down commands.
Oh, it does. Yeah, especially around the whole end of season 3, Best of Both Worlds episodes.
Just after the Enterprise, that's what he wants to be captain of. Just the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Bit tunnel vision, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and he doesn't ever get that, so he's never successful in his career at all.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. How does it
in the opening sequence there as well, the extras in the background, there was all kinds of like one guy was there and not there and then there, and somebody walked down and then it turned into a woman wearing blue walking up, and then she was back down at the bottom walking up. There was like all kinds of, I don't know how they hacked those scenes together, but it was all over the place. I'm surprised it actually made sense, because they must have patched it together from bits.
Yeah. They are hailed by the planet, who invites them to beam down, and is sort of like trying to sell weapons to them, but they realize it's like an automated message that they've tripped by entering into the orbit of the planet. But they do decide to beam down and see if there are any weapons still active, because they don't want anybody else passing by to be, struck by them. And that's the sort of end of the teaser. There you go. How does it feel, Karen, to be on this side of the camera in the show?
Scary.
Is it feeling weird?
It is feeling very sort of disjointed, yes. But yeah, exciting, but scary, but nervous. But yeah, I'll
Yeah.
stay.
Feel free to pitch in with thoughts at any time. There's no order of play in that respect.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that the episode I watched was not the same one as that's on here today.
Ah,
Though, yeah, okay. Yes.
I did
So
tell
it was
you.
called the Arsenal Freedom. Yeah, no, it was. But from what I'm picking up, I didn't see that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see.
maybe it'll ring some bells. in a
Maybe
minute.
it will. Maybe it will. So Act 1, the away team dematerialise in a junglish-like planet. I don't know if we've got anything. Well, the next picture is not particularly helpful. But, and Data can tell they are being monitored. Dun, dun, dun. They look about and find ruins and an abandoned weapon. On the bridge, Ensign Sue informs them there is a power build-up nearby to the east. So Riker heads off in that direction to see what it is, and he comes across Captain Rice. And here's Captain Rice.
Did you recognise Ensign Sue at all?
She's quite good, though. I did think whilst
You
like
mean, sorry.
no, I don't.
She's in an episode of Deep Space Nine, where I think she tries to seduce Commander what's his face. But as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh, she's been in another episode. So I looked it up, and yeah, that's where she's from. And in this one, she's always sat behind the con. Apparently, she gave birth a month later, so she was quite heavily pregnant at the time of this film.
I thought she was quite good. I was thinking at the time,
she is.
She seems a real natural. I don't know why they didn't use her more as like a sort of standard.
Yeah, it's unusual to have an extra have so much of a speaking part. Yeah, she was good.
Yeah, and she seemed like knowledgeable and just into it, and just thought, well, that's compared to like how a lot of the other women have been written in the female characters have been written in the first season. Like it was kind of refreshing,
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. So he comes across Rice. Here's Rice.
And Riker does his Riker maneuver number one with his leg up on a rock.
You beat me to it. You know. I got excited at that point. I was
There's not a picture of it. What
no,
a shame.
No, there's not a picture of it. Yeah. So yes, he puts his leg up on a log. And leans on his knee like he does. And Rice is acting weird. And he wants to know how many of them there are in the away team. And Sue reports down from the bridge that there are no other life forms on the planet in their area. So it's all kind of sus. I said about Riker performing. You said about him performing the maneuver. Rice asks if he's still serving on the Enterprise, but he's back that no, he's serving on the USS Lollipop. Oh. He says it's a new ship, but it's a good ship. You're right there. Yes.
Yeah, you paused for a second. I don't know if it was just me.
Did I?
No, it paused the slide as well.
Oh.
But yeah, the name of the ship was
the Lollipop.
Yeah, and you know what that's from, don't you?
It's a new ship, but it's a good ship.
And you know
it's
why
the
that
good
quote,
ship.
Yeah?
Lollipop.
Lollipop.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then it's funny to hear Rice go, what's the complement of the Lollipop? What's its armament? I can't say that word. Can you say that word?
Armament?
Armament.
Armament.
Oh, Smiler's saying question time. Is there a question?
Oh, I'm saying question time. Sorry.
So cool. Sorry.
I didn't know if Karen could see the chat bar.
I can now. Okay.
Oh, and Smiler is also sorry.
Oh, and G is there. G, look at bless
G
him.
is saying I just put it into chat as well. G, so
go back and lie down, G. Don't go watching this.
Oh, bless him. So question time. It's a Lieutenant Commander question, which is worth 25 PNG points. Well, hey.
Ooh.
Woo. Give us a bit more. Woo.
Ooh.
So the question is, as the away team beam down to planet, Picard is doing a captain's log and states, I'm far from certain that the planet is devoid of, fill in the blank. So it's a bit like blankety blank, those that know it. Is it A, life?
Blank, ba-doom, doom, blankety blank, blankety blank.
Is it B, defences? Or is it C, danger? It's A, B, or C.
The planet is devoid of blank. What was it? Life, defences, or danger?
Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Okay.
Lost in Space.
There it was.
That is us.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of that one then.
And Will Robinson is in Deep Space Nine as a side character. And Bill Mummy, he's also in Babylon 5. But
Oh, yeah.
he's in an episode of Deep Space Nine and they kill him off. So the director of that episode was really pleased because he killed off Will Robinson. There we go.
Carry on, Monty Band.
I shall carry on. I shall carry on.
I'll let people answer for a minute.
Yeah, armament. He wants to know all the stats of the ship, and Riker just says like 10, 6.
Yeah.
And frustrated, Rice is like, you're not making any sense, and then disappears. And it turns out it's just a projection projected by a probe that then appears in his place. And they try to beam up, but their transporter beam's now being blocked. And it encases Riker in like a force field, in an energy, and they can't destroy it. Picard wants to know what's going on, but Data doesn't know. He's like, I have no idea what's going on. And that's the end of Act 1. Act 2. The away team theorised that it's some kind of storage, that it puts the targets in storage for like another process to come along and sort of take it away, clear it up, dispose of it or whatever. And Picard decides that himself and Beverly Crusher will be beaming down to give the away team some assistance. He gives LaForge the bridge, and as Riker isn't there and Data's not there, so it falls on poor old Geordie LaForge.
And it falls on Troy to object to the captain doing this without Riker there.
Yes, that's right. Troy objects, and Picard just turns around and goes, "Noted," and walks off. If it was Riker, he would have put a little bit more effort into his objection, but he was just realizing that actually it's Troy, so it doesn't matter at all what he says. So just a curt "noted" is all she got. Picard and Beverly arrive on the planet, and Data explains the function of the probe, that what he thinks it's about, and Picard orders Data to remove the force field, and Data says it's going to take some time. While he's doing it, they get attacked by a second probe, I assume, and in fleeing, Beverly and Picard fall down through a roof of a ruin into a cave below, and Beverly looks kind of injured.
Apparently those probe things were made out of like a pantyhose packet and a shampoo bottle.
Yeah, I think they look a little bit like something a lady would keep in her drawer beside her bed, but
more like a Blue Peter. Here's one we made earlier.
yeah, but yes, yeah, that's why they call it a probe. Oh no, Yara and Data destroy the probe and communicate with the Enterprise. Beverly is injured with a broken arm. Picard makes a splint out of her uniform and a stick that he finds lying about. And Data finally releases Riker from the force field. The Enterprise, meanwhile, is being attacked by something in orbit. So they've had to raise shields and go to red alert. Or yellow alert or whatever, red alert. So they can't beam up the away team through the shield. So they're a bit stuck. And then Chief Engineer Logan comes to the bridge and he wants command because he outranks Geordie. And Geordie's like, Picard left me in charge. And Logan's like, I outrank you. And Logan's a bit of a git, really, isn't he? He's a bit. He reminds me a bit of like a sort of Biff from Back to the Future sort of character. You know, he's just bullied his way through the ranks.
Attitude.
I probably haven't been forwarding on the. Oh, sorry. There's Riker in his force field. He's doing well.
After he was released from that force field, and they said something about, Picard and Crusher are elsewhere. He didn't show the slightest element of shock of, what? What's the captain doing here? You'd expect him to have some kind of reaction.
Yeah.
Because, but never mind.
Doesn't do anything.
And that cavern they were in, I don't know whether it was like a real cave or whether they imported the sand from somewhere, but apparently the sand, like Beverly was half covered in it, of which, you would brush that off somebody who was laying there prone and injured. You wouldn't just leave them half covered, but there were little sand fleas in it apparently, and it made their filming of those scenes really horrible.
Yeah, I hate sand fleas. Ugh.
Yeah.
They bite.
Do we want to go through the answers of the Lieutenant Commander question?
I'm looking at the moment. We have got no one that is guessing any answers.
Yes, Stu Plum guessed an A.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Stu Plum. Just refresh. We have Stu Plum who has done. Do I say which one he's made a guess on yet?
Life. He's guessed A. Life. I'd go for A. Life as well.
And the answer is.
The answer is C. Danger.
Oh, was it?
Oh.
There you go. We got it wrong. We all got it wrong.
No points for question 1.
Nil point. Nil point for Angleterre. Yeah. Basically, Geordie then asks Worf to come up with the best possible firing pattern they could use against their enemy, and tells Logan to basically shut up and go back to engineering. And in polite terms, in polite captainy terms, because I need you down there with your skills to get us out of this sort of thing. So he kind of marches back to engineering looking severely annoyed. On the planet, Riker, Yor, and Data are fighting the latest probe. And fighting picture. There you go. And realizing that the probes are adapting and they're getting harder with each new wave probe that arrives. And Data's realized that they arrive exactly every 12 minutes. Beverly wants to nod off in the cave, but Picard won't let her because they realize she's going into shock. And they find another wound on the leg that's now infested with sand fleas.
I mean, why though? Like, she's a medical professional. She's already told him about the arm injury, and she says, I'm losing blood. And he's like, what? But I stemmed blood. She's like, no, from the injury in my leg.
Yeah.
Now I'm going into shock. Like, what? Why would she have not said something earlier? Why would she have not guided him into stemming the bleeding? Why would she wait until she was going into shock?
I don't know, but I'm guessing it's because she's going into shock. It's just a guess. I don't know. But, yeah, that could be the reason.
That photo looks like the lightsabers.
Oh, it does.
They're holding it. It's like, may the force be with them.
Don't tell Chris. You saw a picture of lightsabers. I'll never hear the end of it. No. Yes. So, she had a wound on her leg. Beverly gets him to find some roots. So he tries one out in his mouth, and it's like it's bitter. And she gets him to rub it on his hand. He's like, it makes it yellow. And she's like, yeah, apply it on the wound. That'll do. And then she gets him to elevate her legs to stem the blood flow. Picard then goes off and looks for an exit. On the Enterprise, they're preparing for a battle. And as they're preparing, I like the fact that Geordie's going round and he checks with Sue that she knows what she's doing and tells her she's doing a good job. You know, I just thought he's being a good commander. You don't see Picard doing that.
No.
And it struck me as at that point. I just thought, oh, well, he's good at this. He'll make a good captain one day. I thought to myself. He then. They basically fail in their maneuvers to defeat their enemy. So then he has to order the Enterprise out of orbit and tells Logan to come to the bridge, and that's how they end that act, because he's like, Logan, come to the bridge. It's like, oh, he was all doing well and now he's all defeated. But no, they do a sort of switch on us. He's not defeated. He's got a new plan. So when Logan reports to the bridge, Geordie tells him that he is now going to take command. He's like, Logan, you take command of the saucer section. And Logan's like, what? He's like, yeah, we're gonna split the ship. You're going to take the civilians in the saucer section, and I'm going to command the star drive and go back and get him back. And after lobbying for Logan's lobbying for like, well, we've got to get out of here because, I need to take command and we've got to do something. He's now like, you can't leave and leave the away team behind. And I just thought, oh, well, make up your bloody mind.
Yeah, he's one of those people who will always point out the flaws in anything.
Yeah.
Which is a bit like my job on this show, to be fair. But, that's only because it's my job.
Yeah. But you do
Speaking of which,
you do it in a constructive way.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, it's not really a flaw, but
Right.
it's just interesting to note that this was Worf's kind of first episode where he takes up the position of tactical on the ship.
Yeah.
And obviously, shortly hereafter, that becomes his kind of permanent thing for the rest of the series. But this is the first time he's at that post.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing quite a good job at it as well. And the other thing was, what I find a bit odd is, well, there's two things odd, really, in terms of the people on the ship. So they're going to do a saucer set.
Yeah.
And the bit that Geordie's in is the bit with like the engine room and everything, right?
Yeah.
And you're sending your chief engineer off onto the other bit. It's like, is that the best tactical decision? Surely there would have been one of another of the 2,000 people on the ship that could have taken the saucer set to their saucer section to safety. And along that same...
Your warp core specialist is going off on the part of the ship that doesn't have a warp core.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that just did not make any sense to me.
Not really.
And the other thing was, Geordie then goes to the battle bridge with his two ensigns, and once again, I'm like, well, in a starship of 2,000 people, you're going into battle. Really, are the only two, like, the best choice of the two people to support you are two ensigns that have no battle experience? Surely, of the 2,000 people on the ship, there would have been some kind of better choice than that.
Well, the thing is, because they're ensigns, they look up to Geordie as like some sort of big commander, where like...
Oh, they do indeed, yeah, for sure.
So it makes him feel comfortable.
It's like if you've got like a 6 bridge crew, and then what? Everybody else are ensigns.
Yeah. No, he doesn't want to take some commanders with him because he'll be like feeling like he's still like the noob. You got
tactically wrong choice because of his ego.
Well, you got to remember as well, he's not very experienced, so maybe he just made all these tactical errors because he just doesn't know any better. He's learning, He's like trainee captain. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Karen?
Just to let you know, in chat we've got Stacey Reed all the way from Portsmouth. Hello, Stacey.
Hi, Stacey.
Hi.
Oh, see you there.
Yeah, he's just saying hi, and we'll say something about a carrot cake.
Carrot cake?
He made a carrot cake, and there's one slice left now.
Oh, is there? Nice. Very, very nice. Oh, wow. Hi, Stacey. Welcome along.
Is it time for the next question as well, perchance?
Oh, go on then.
Well, this one is actually worth 50 TNG points. It's
50? My gosh.
50. Yes, 50.
Big points.
Big points. So see if anyone's going to get this right. And it's a multiple choice. So if you haven't seen the episode, you can guess. You've got 1 in 3 chances. So A, B, or C. So, okay. No, it's the commander. It's the weapons one. The weapons appear on the planet in precise intervals of how many minutes? Sorry, it's not the A, B, or C one. That's the next question.
Although Mark did say this earlier, so
I
if people
said
were
this.
paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody out there's actually listening to anything I say, which is by no means certain, I did say this exact thing, so I know the answer to this one. I'll give you. I'll give you a clue. It's more than 10.
Good clue.
Another clue. It's less than 20.
Well,
Ooh,
we've
narrowing it
narrowed the range.
Answers in the box.
Yeah. So whilst answers are coming in, I'll just quickly carry on. Yeah. So he's given the command of the saucer section to whatever his name was.
Logan.
Logan. That's the chap. Logan's still annoyed about the whole thing. But that's the way it goes. And then well, no, we talked about all that. Then Geordie goes off to the ready room and Troy follows him in. And you think she's going to talk to him about him being stressed and that. But actually she's like, you're dealing with this very well. But remember, the rest of the crew may not be dealing with it very well. So you've got to reassure them. And, and I thought to myself, hasn't she been watching him? He's been doing that already. He's been being a good boy. It's like, so that was completely nugatory advice from Troy. It's like, thanks, Troy. Yeah. So then Geordie and Worf go off to the battle bridge and separate the ship. So we get that. And the nice graphics of the ship being separated again.
Same graphics that they use from Encounter.
Yeah, I'm not moving this thing on, am I? There he is. There's Logan. Look in his useless face.
Yeah, I don't feel it with him as an actor, I have to say. He doesn't sort of give me that faith in Starfleet at all. I don't know about you guys.
He's a bit OTT, and yeah, he's not typical of the Starfleet kind of polite mentality.
I bet he was a school bully.
Yeah.
It's a bit like a cross between a sort of like trying to be a Superman lookalike to trying to be cool, but not really hitting it.
Yeah.
Look at that prominent brow. He might be one swing closer to the tree than others.
Oh, dear. Yeah. Yes, if Geordie could have driven him into a load of cow manure, he would have done, bit of Back to the Future. Yes. Picard's still trying to keep Beverly alive and active because she's gone into shock and wants to go to sleep. And so she starts telling him about her grandmother. And it was her grandmother who taught her all about like roots and herbal medicines and all that sort of thing. And we find out more about her grandma, and I think it's season 6. She comes up again.
She does.
Yeah. She literally rises from the grave.
It's all those herbs she's taking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird episode.
Might be a bit magical, like.
Picard stumbles across a computer console. We got anything about that? Oh no, just more fighting. He stumbles
more
across
lightsabers.
Yeah, more like it's not lightsaber. Shush, shush. Yeah, he comes across a computer console, and the hologram, the salesman, the weapons merchant, appears again, and explains that this console is the centerpiece of the weapon that's attacking them. And that Alistair said, and it's an impressive demonstration it's giving. And they're like, yeah, it's impressive, but it's trying to kill us. And the salesman explains that it adapts to, its opponents. and it can suppress both ground troops and space vessels. So Picard realizes, oh, crumbs, there's one up there after the Enterprise as well. And he's just thinking to himself, and I left the keys with Geordie. And Picard tells him the system was too perfect and likely wiped out its creators, and which is why there's nobody on the planet. And in the last demonstration of the system, it wiped out everyone. They didn't figure it out, and that's why they're all gone.
I have to say, look at that picture there. Riker's actually got a real pout on when he does that.
Yeah,
in the
it's
next episode as well. It's like,
he was ready for the selfie in this shot, wasn't he?
he's like, oh, model pose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Riker pose.
Should we have the answers to the last question?
Have you had any guesses?
Duplum, who missed 12 minutes. And
That was
no one else. No one else
I think some
guessed.
points are coming Duplum's way.
Duplum, well done. You have got 50 points. Woohoo! Or was it the...
And it's these spiral rainbows as well. Weapons appear in how many minutes? And then she said, wait a minuet.
Wait a minuet.
Oh.
That was so a few weeks ago. Well, that was so
Well done,
February.
Duplum.
Well done, Duplum. You're in the lead today.
He hasn't got you for competition, Karen.
No, in fact, he's got no competition this evening. We haven't got any of the usual. No D, no
Casdy.
no Casdy, and no Karen, and
I just get the answers.
yeah.
Love
Shh,
it.
shh. Yeah. You're supposed to have a genius.
I'm a genius.
Yeah. So the machine makes some noise, and it's making a noise because it's making another machine. It's 12 minutes of pass. It's making a better machine that's going to annihilate the away team. So Picard asks the merchant to abort it, but he's saying he can't abort it. You need the demonstration needs to continue so you can see the weapon's full abilities. The away team find Picard and Beverly down the hole, and they can't get them out. But then Data says, "Well, actually, I can just jump down. I think it's 10 meters." And he's like, "It's fine." So he does. He jumps down and he scans Beverly and has a concerned look on his face. Like he's like, "Oh, she's not good." Back up in space, the star drive section has arrived back at Minos, and Geordie gives the bridge crew a good pep talk. "You're the best crew in Starfleet. You're going to do this." And back on the planet, the fourth and final probe is now after Yar and Riker, as they're the only two left up on the surface. We've probably got a... Oh, there's the Enterprise. We're really behind. Oh, there's the hologram merchant guy.
He's a ghost.
Yeah.
On Ghost.
Oh. He is a ghost on Ghost, yeah.
What's
He's
he?
the one in the subway station.
Yeah, that's right.
Get off my train.
He's an interesting looking guy, isn't he? Yeah.
It's a look.
It is. Yeah. The probe attacks Yara and Riker. I thought, it arrives and its first more accurate shot completely misses by miles. So I was like, wow, this thing's really improved. And so Yara and Riker then duck behind what looks like a pile of moss.
Yeah.
Wow, this is the thing that wiped out the entire planet. And it's like fooled by a pile of moss. Picard realizes that he can stop the attack by purchasing the weapon. the guy's like, stop it. He's like, stop it. Why? Are you buying? He's like, yes, I'm buying. I'll buy it. He's like, oh, okay, then there's no need to carry on with the demonstration. Sold. So he saves the day. It's all solved. But unfortunately, up in orbit, the Enterprise is still being attacked by the space version. So Geordie takes the Enterprise deep into the atmosphere. So because the space version is cloaked and you can't see it, so he takes it into the atmosphere, and then it glows in the as it's cruising through the atmosphere, and so they use that glow then to lock their phasers on target and destroy it.
Clever.
Yeah.
Looks quite a glowing spaceship there.
Yeah, it's pretty good from the effects point of view, really, for a season 1
It is. You
episode.
can see that they put a bit more effort into it.
Yeah, the away team beam back. Geordie goes to give command back to Picard, but Picard jokes that, I gave you this ship in one piece. And he's like, I'll take it back in one piece, thank you very much. So basically, he allows Geordie to continue commanding the Enterprise until the Enterprise is then docked back together again.
Geordie looks all chuffed.
He does, he looks all chubby.
This one,
He sits back in the command chair, gets comfortable, whilst Picard stands at tactical behind him. Yeah, which is a nice little touch, I thought.
What was that, Karen?
I was just going to say how Troy-looking you are with your hair up and your
Oh, yes.
head dress. It looks very, very smart.
Got my Diana on today. My big hair.
Yeah,
and my
big on there.
bejeweled hairline.
You're feeling those emotions.
Yes. Oh, what's it? She's like, pain. That's what she says in like half of the episode.
It's like we've got Troy with us. You just got to have a sort of off and on Greek come London accent.
Yeah.
All right, governor. Oh no, I mean.
Very well dressed eyes.
Yeah, I even tried to get like the lipstick I put on was too red earlier, so then I darkened it to try and make it match.
What do you think? This is some sort of makeup show? Look, come on.
Just trying to get my Troy on.
If you think Troy has got an easy time with makeup, just think of poor Worf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How does he sit there in makeup?
And he did that for like 12 years.
And in the first season, he has to go through all that just to stand at the back of the bridge in like a background shot for most of the time because he's not really in it a great deal.
No.
True.
But there you go. That's the breakdown of Arsenal of Freedom, and I think the cons of this episode were the shots of the planet. I think in later seasons of TNG, if they had a planet shot, they'd take them out to like the Californian desert or like some oasis nearby or something, and like just have some location shooting. But the first season they did it all in the soundstage, and it just looks terrible. It just looks terrible with the green soundstage backing and the potted plants everywhere. It doesn't look good.
Nissan made a little note to say that much of this episode reminds me of a TV series from the 80s. It sort of has the 80s nostalgic theme for him, he found.
Yeah, it does. It is. A lot of season ones is like that. It's very much of its time. But I think this is quite strong from the point of view of the action that's in it. We have good action down on the planet. We have Picard getting in there as well, and he even does a somersault as he falls through the hole, which I didn't mention at the time. He literally goes head over heels after Beverly. So
this episode was the first use of what was he called, John Novak or something, his stunt double, who was then used in 20 other episodes. Yeah, John Nowak. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And there was a space shoot 'em up scene and a saucer set.
A saucer separation. I mean, those are rare beasts. That's like that's like a trump card. That's like when you used to get those football stickers when you were kids, and you get like the shiny one or the holographic one. That's
tiny prize ones, weren't they?
That's a holographic Pokemon card. That is getting a saucer separation in an episode. So I think it deserves an extra point for that alone.
So I wonder how the original ones are still out there.
There you go. Right, should we do some scourge?
I was going to say, do you want to ask the final question before I just give a few last-minute facts?
Go on then.
Go on then. It's a captain's question. This is the multiple choice. I will get this right now. So it's worth 100 points. Ooh. Question. Your Smiler would kindly type it for me in the chat. When the Forge takes the Enterprise away from the planet before separating the saucer section, what warp speed does he order? Is it A, 2, B, 5, or C, 7? So that's takes the Enterprise away from the planet before separating the saucer section. What warp speed does he order? I've had no blood one. Is it A, 2, B, 5, or C, 7? And it's so hard not to read the answer out at the same time.
So the only other things I was going to mention is, did you notice who was missing from this episode?
Yes, I do.
It's funny because when G-Star wrote to me with the questions earlier, after this he went, oh, and before you ask, Will Wheaton was missing from this episode.
Yeah, it was Will.
So he knew I was going to ask that, so that was quite funny. There was some rewrites of this episode. So originally it was going to be Picard was the one that was injured and Beverly was tending to him, and there was going to be a stronger romantic subplot whereby she thought he was going to die and she kind of confesses that she has feelings for him, but then they mixed it all up, they switched it around, and they took away some of the the romantic elements behind it, which is a bit of a shame, to the objections of the director. And the director said that a lot of this was kind of in turmoil with last-minute rewrites, but it all overall came together in no small part because of the cast. He said they were just such a joy to work with, and I think this is the first one that he directed as well, so it was a bit of a trial by fire kind of thing. Another observation was apparently this weapon system took down the Drake initially, which is why Rice was there and such like. Yeah. So they'd already had exposure to Starfleet technology and tactics and all that kind of thing. So really those little probe things should have been starting from a much better place, unless they completely reset back to zero knowledge before every demonstration.
Yeah.
And that was it. Oh, and there was some reference apparently to the USS Drake. It had a max warp speed of 3. Which, if that was the case, it would have been the slowest Starfleet ship in the whole of the 24th century.
Wow.
Anyway.
I wonder if it was named after Sir Francis Drake of our very town.
Plymouth.
Or maybe the pop star Drake. Who knows? Who knows?
Or after a male duck.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's always that one as well. Yeah. Anyway, I completely guessed it too. That was my guess. Stu Plum's guessed it too. Maz, you got to put in your guess. We guess on these. Oh, you've seen the questions.
It was in my notes, so I know the answer.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want me to tell you?
Go on then. Or Karen could just read out the answer.
The answer is, so when the Forge takes the Enterprise away from the planet before separating the saucer section, what warp speed does he order? B is the correct answer.
5.
5.
Oh, well done.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't got any points on that one.
No.
So, scoresies.
Scores on the doors. Let me just, I haven't got the scores up on the thing. Sheets, wasn't it? There we go. Let me just stop that one and share these. Oh, there we go. Right.
Ready?
Yeah, hang on.
3.
Hang on.
2.
Hang on. No. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, wait.
You going to write yours down?
Yep. I'm going to write mine down. I'm going to do 2, if that's okay. First one is G-Stars.
Ooh.
Mine is the other one.
Please, could we have your scores in chat? Stu Plum, what do you rate this episode? Let's have a look. What are we going to go with?
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go! Ooh, 8 from Monty Van, goodness.
Oh,
And a 6 from G Star, a 5 from Karen, and a 6 from me.
It was my joint favourite episode this season so far.
Wow. I certainly thought it was above average. But yeah, there's a couple I've liked a little bit more.
It had action. It had source of separation. It had Geordie being awesome and putting down that bully. It had possible flirtations between Bev and Picard. It had the Riker maneuver. It just had everything. Potted plants.
quite a strong storyline about the civilization developing weapons of war which can end up destroying themselves.
Oh yeah,
True,
that too.
it did have that moral subplot.
Yeah, which is an interesting one. It's a good, I quite liked it as a twist. They destroyed themselves with weapons, not anybody else, just themselves. It was like a whole civilization.
How I imagine a lot of civilizations go out. To be fair,
Yeah, it was literally like, Terminator. What do you call it?
Skynet.
Skynet.
What's the not Doomsday? Judgment Day. Yeah, they literally had the Terminator Judgment Day event happen to them, didn't they? Where Skynet just, in testing itself out, just obliterated the entire population.
Yeah.
Yeah, I quite liked it. What did you give it, Maz?
6. G-Star gave it a 6 as well.
Right. Well, you're both wrong. So on average, because of my high score, it puts it above things like Heart of Glory and Home Soil. So it's been the most popular one since 11001001, which is about right, I think. That works out. Just getting the
Next.
I'm just getting the pictures for the next one. So now we're on to Symbiosis. And stop sharing that and share that and do this and do that and just talk
Click all
amongst
your
yourselves.
Stu Plum gave it a 7. So he actually split the difference between you and me, Monty.
Yeah, Stu Plum's right. Not that there's any right answers, but Stu Plum gets an extra point for being right. Yeah.
Add that to his TV.
Yeah, he's on 51 now.
He's on
so if
51
there's any
now.
kind of draws later, then
Yeah,
that
well
might
done,
put him
Stu
over the
Plum.
edge.
You got an extra point there. Symbiosis. Starts off with a nice shot of the Enterprise there, like a lot of episodes do. The Enterprise is monitoring the sun in the, is it Delos system? I can't read my own writing. Delos? Yeah, let's go with that. System, because there'll be powerful flares as the sun's going through some stages, and these flares will disrupt key Enterprise systems as they're monitoring it. On the bridge, they put the sun on the viewer, and then they black the sun out with a little black disc, which
they have to move into place.
Which they move into place. Yeah. Bearing in mind,
Low tech way of doing it.
plus this is not a window. This is a view screen, like a very sophisticated monitor. So they could just lower the contrast or the brightness. You know what I mean? They don't have to it's not like anyway. Very low tech. Suppose Data's not there standing there with a disc holding it. Sorry, sir. I just left a bit, Data. Right a bit, right there, right there.
And then they both zoom into it as well with the sun flares.
Which they then use some actual footage of the sun, like from NASA, for that bit.
Oh, I thought it might have been. It looked a bit real.
Yeah, you can just tell that's real footage. And it's like, wow, we've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that before. And it's like, that's like
That goes on all the time with our
1980s
son.
footage of the sun. Anyway, yeah. As they're watching it, they get hit by a massive amount of solar radiation that affects all the ship systems. And that sort of standard TNG blue electric glow effect goes over all the control panels that it does for pretty much any instance of anything they meet anywhere.
Wesley seems quite excited by it. He's like, oh, whoa.
Yeah. Nobody else is bothered.
How exciting.
He's like, look at this. But they press on. And then they intercept a distress call from a freighter that's hailing them. And they find out they're in trouble. And they decide to rush to help. They're helping the freighter.
I find it a bit weird, though, that, you know, they've got all this stuff going on with the ship. And then, like, was it Troy says, oh, you know, tensions are mounting.
Yeah.
And then Picard says, okay, then. And he puts over the loudspeaker something about...
we're all going to die!
Yeah, we're pushing the shields to the maximum limit, but we're getting a really good view.
I'm going to go closer.
It's like... It's inconceivable that they would put a ship with thousands of people on it at risk. I mean, they've got to have probes and stuff they could launch rather than pushing the shields to the absolute limit and having sparks flying out of half their systems.
The Federation flagship, which is the only ship in Starfleet at this time that has a civilian population aboard.
Yeah, and you just want to fly it into a sun needlessly.
Yeah. This ship, actually, is two of them. At this time, the first there's two of them. There's the Enterprise and the sister ship, the Galaxy. You know, there's two of them. There's a lot more later on, but yeah. So there you go. Yeah, not the best of ideas, to be honest, really. But so yeah, they arrive at the freighter and they hail it, and the captain comes on the view screen, and he doesn't seem to know anything about his ship or what's wrong with it, and they remind me very much of the Pakleds that we find later in Star Trek when they come across the Pakleds. And they go, what's wrong with your ship? And he's like, it is broken. It's like, yeah, no, but what's wrong?
It won't go.
Yeah.
Can you make it go?
Can you make it go? Our ship is broken.
Don't they? It's like they're not even, there's no urgency. It's like,
yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
So-
he's quite relaxed.
Yeah.
It's
Is
just
that
like,
okay?
you know,
Have you tried to... no. Okay, I'll try. And like the ship's falling into the atmosphere to its doom. And yeah. Data tries to connect to their computer to determine what's wrong and finds that the electromagnetic coils is misaligned. So they inform the captain, who's like, oh, that's great. And it's kind of like there's a pause. And he's like, so will that fix everything? And he's like, yes. Yes, once they're installed. And the cap's like, okay, how do you do that? And Picard's not really understanding how this captain can be a captain of this freighter and not understand anything about the ship's functions. And so they decide then, Yar comes up with the idea of maybe we'll just use the tractor beam to grab onto the ship and stop it falling into the gravity well of the planet. But the radiation coming from the sun is stopping the tractor beam. So in the end they go, actually, right, we can't get through to these people, we'll beam them aboard. So they go down to the transporter room, and they have to get them, because of all the radiation, they've got to get them onto their own transporter pads first. And so that's a bit of a rigmarole, going backwards and forwards, trying to explain to them that they've got to go to the transport room, they got to set the computer these coordinates, and they keep getting the coordinates wrong, and eventually they sort it out, they get them there, they get them to do it, they beam them across, and what appears on the transporter pad but their cargo. So they've prioritized their cargo over themselves, and by the time they actually beam them aboard, it's gotten to such a critical point that they only actually managed to bring over 4 of the 6 people that were on the ship. but they're not bothered by that at all. They're just worried that their cargo has arrived. And
Any pictures?
When the cargo first arrived, I actually thought they were people, inside,
yeah,
I thought they were people cargo.
Like a little cluster of little people.
there's Picard doing an OMG. This guy's an idiot face.
He asked
oh,
years has he been when it was 7, wasn't it?
I've got another picture actually, which I'm just going to share with you because I knew I didn't have a picture of them, so I went and found one. Not sure it's greatest picture in the world, but this is from a little bit later on. But I just wanted a picture of the 4 people that beamed across. So that's them, and you're going.
What do you know about them?
You're going to give us some trivia about 2 of the members of this intrepid crew.
You already know.
I know who they are, yes. So let's start with the people that are dressed from Battlestar Galactica on the left there. They're straight out of the 70s. So we recognise the guy at the front.
Mm-hmm.
And he is Khan's right-hand man from Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Yep.
And they're called the
Breccians.
Breccians. They're the Breccians. And on the right there, we've got the Ornarans. The Ornarans. And the Ornarans there, the guy at the front, from the same film, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, we've got Kirk's son. Yeah.
Yep. Both from the same film, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And this also, sadly, was one of his last appearances ever before he died, sadly, at the age of 29.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
There was a photo of him in, was it Undiscovered Country or something? But he didn't appear in another episode, and I think this was his last sort of acting gig other than that static photo.
Wow. Yeah, so ironically, 2 actors that are both from Star Trek 2, facing off over the table once again. We don't care who the other 2 are. They could be anyone. But yes, 2 of them look like they were straight out of the set of Battlestar Galactica, and 2 of them look like they were from a farm from Kansas. Something like that. Yeah. So that was that.
Is there a question at all yet?
Ooh, there could be a question. It's a Lieutenant Commander question, and that means it's 25 points. So the question is, after responding to the distress call from an alien freighter, the Enterprise crew diagnosed their malfunction. Captain Picard tells the freighter's captain the issue is their ship uses an electromagnetic coil to constrict an exhaust flow, but the coil is, and it's an A, B, or C, is the coil A, misaligned, B, prematurely charging, or C, out of phase due to solar flares?
Ooh.
I wouldn't try and write all of that Smiler Rainbow.
Just say
The malfunctioning coils were A, B, or C.
It was A, misaligned, B, prematurely charging, or C, out of phase due to solar flares.
There we go. You can continue, Monty.
I shall continue. So these 4 Nimrods are beamed across, and they're caring more about their cargo than they are their colleagues. We've talked about the 2 factions, the Breccians and the Ornarans, and they attack each other because of the cargo. That basically they were on the freighter, and the Ornarans were buying the cargo from the Breccians, but because the cargo, what they were buying it with now being destroyed with the freighter. The Breccians say that the cargo still belongs to them because they haven't received payment. But the Onarans are saying, well, we actually conducted the transaction on the freighter, so the cargo now belongs to us. And so there's a severe disagreement. And they attack each other with their innate solar-powered electric energy. Or he's just rubbed himself up against this guy once too many times, and there's so much polyester in that outfit that it's statically charged like a mofo.